It was the year 1622, off the stormy coast of Florida. A Spanish galleon, loaded with gold and silver, fought desperately to make its way back to Spain. But as it passed through the Florida Straits, disaster struck. A violent hurricane tore into the ship, snapping its massive masts and ripping away the stern rudder. Within moments, the great vessel, known as the Nuestra Señora de Atocha, was swallowed by the sea. That night, $500 million worth of treasure sank beneath the waves, disappearing into darkness and mystery. For centuries, its location remained unknown. But 300 years later, the hidden fortune of the Atocha would finally be discovered, valued far beyond anything anyone could have imagined. When the Atocha sank that fateful night, it went down near the coral islands of the Florida Keys, a chain of tiny islets stretching nearly 200 miles. At first, people knew where the wreck had gone down. But just weeks later, another hurricane tore the ship apart, scattering its remains across the ocean floor and erasing its location forever. The records, however, never disappeared. According to Spanish manifests, the Atocha carried more than 150 gold bars, over 1,000 silver ingots, and more than 50 chests filled with precious treasures. In today's money, the value was staggering, around $500 million. Many men risked their lives in search of it. Some even perished trying. But the ship remained lost, until Mel Fisher came along. Mel wasn't like other treasure hunters. He had dedicated his entire life to diving, even running a dive school in California with his wife, where he trained more than 60,000 students. When he learned about the Atocha, he moved his entire family to Florida, determined to find it. With just a small boat and a few metal detectors, Fisher and his team began searching around an area called Maritime Key. For over a year, they scoured more than 100,000 miles of open sea, but found nothing. Many began to believe it was impossible, but Fisher had a secret weapon, a historian named Eugene Lyon. Lyon had traveled to the archives in Seville, Spain, where he discovered a crucial document written 4 years after the shipwreck. It described a search effort that had begun near the Marquesas Keys, over 100 miles away from where Fisher had been searching. He immediately moved his operation to the new site, but deeper water meant new problems. Divers could barely see a few feet in front of them. Fisher came up with a brilliant solution. He rigged his boat with giant suction tubes, which pushed clear water down to the divers and blasted away sand, exposing whatever lay buried beneath. In 1971, after years of fruitless searching, they finally found their first clue, a massive anchor. Soon, more artifacts followed: cups, swords, cannonballs, even iron spikes from the ship's hull. They carefully mapped every discovery, noticing a faint trail forming along the seafloor. Fisher was sure the treasure had to be nearby, but years passed with little success. His funds were running dry. Then, in 1973, the team unearthed several silver bars and coins worth over $100,000. Careful analysis of their weights and serial numbers proved they were indeed from the Atocha. For the first time, Fisher had undeniable proof he was on the right track. Still, Florida's state government tried to seize his finds, sparking an 8-year legal battle. Fisher refused to back down. Along the way, his divers discovered 9 bronze cannons engraved with the Atocha's insignia. Tragically, disaster struck again. One of Fisher's boats capsized, killing 3 crew members, including his own son. Years of heartbreak followed, but Fisher held onto a belief, fueled by an old survivor's account that spoke of smuggling over 70 pounds of Colombian emeralds aboard the Atocha. He knew this ship carried more than just gold and silver. In the late 1970s, Fisher finally won his court battle, securing full rights to the treasure. But by then, he had already sunk more than $6 million into the hunt, with little to show for it. Everything changed in 1985. On July 20th, after nearly 16 years of searching, Fisher's team scanned a faint, ghostly shape on sonar. Divers plunged beneath the waves, and there it was. A massive 80-foot-long wreck site, littered with gold bars, silver coins, and scattered treasure. Among the ruins lay a finger-sized emerald worth more than $800,000. Soon, they uncovered another emerald valued at over $100,000. Eventually, they would find over 2,000 pristine emeralds, along with unimaginable riches. At last, Mel Fisher had done it. After decades of sacrifice, setbacks, and tragedy, he and his team had discovered one of the greatest treasures ever lost to the sea.